Oh, Penny don't want to be online today. She wants to be outside. And I don't blame her. But I wanted to share with you about some things that I've had a lot of time to reflect on. Some of these topics that I have been reading. Sorry about the traffic out there. I have the windows open. There are a lot of layers to this onion, so let's peel this back a video at a time. This is my version of the things that I have been reading. So, in my opinion, with exact numbers and documentation, how it's going to affect everyone, or does affect people now. Unemployment. In March 2025, there was 7.237 million unemployed Americans. That's 25% of the population. Those jobless for 27 weeks or more have decreased in the last 2 months. Not that they found a job, maybe some did, but mostly they ran out of unemployment weeks and signed up for welfare. It seems to be a cycle to let workers go when their hourly wage peaks. Then they hire someone new at minimum wages with a promise of increased wages over time. Minimum wages have been steadily rising, but so has food prices and apartment rents. Rents for 2-bedroom apartment, depending on their area, have increased between 33% and 62%. The average rent increases are at 50% of a person's income since 2020. That means also 100.6 million households are priced out of the housing market. Knowing all this, is there any doubt why people are living out of their vehicles? At least with not paying rent, just vehicle gas and food expenses, people could save money out of their checks. Generally, these vehicle dwellers don't have children. They are on a waiting list saving up for first and last month's rent plus security deposit for a future apartment. They may have long-range plans to invest in a property if the opportunity knocks. Sometimes work has them traveling to different areas of the country. And like higher rents, motel rooms raise their prices. More and more, low-income apartments and cheap motels are not kept up, and bugs of various species have moved in. Something else I read recently that I found of interest is that there are 2 ways to enslave people. The first way is how we would typically interpret that with shackles, with a jail cell, where you enslave someone to work their debt off to society. And all you have to do is provide shelter, food, and police the situation. The second way to enslave someone is to give them freedom to tell them that the harder they work, the more they can achieve. And they do that by dangling a shiny carrot, and people will enslave themselves. They will chain themselves to a desk or line work and work like mules for hours and hours. They will log in overtime for the benefits of more hours of work. And they will pay for their own food and their own shelter, paying out even more taxes. Yeah, give them freedom and they will enslave themselves. It's really quite genius. Very corrupt, but genius. So the carrot is when our perception of reality are shaped in every conceivable way. So we are shaped by media and propaganda. The image that we were flooded with constantly, a culture of commercialism and keeping up with the Joneses, being convinced that we need things that we really don't need, and therefore we work harder and harder so that we can achieve them, using competition and comparison to motivate us in ways that are not always the healthiest. I've always said chasing money really is a trap. And I've said this many times in my life: if you live for money, when will you have enough? Because the answer is you will never have enough. There will always be a shiny carrot out there. I think this leads to being motivated by fear rather than achievement, ultimately because we achieve things and then we live in fear of losing them. People are motivated by the fear of not having enough, the fear of not having their basic needs met, as it trickles down. And what about those who just flat out refuse to participate in any way? The outcasts, the homeless, the people who are not considered contributing members of society because perhaps they looked around and just don't want to contribute to a failed system. Yet it's a system they use. Many see the struggles of those on a Social Security check after years and years of paying into the system. Yet we have an upcoming generation who don't want to pay into the system after living on government grants to attend college that the seniors already were taxed to help the younger generation succeed. I watched a social commentary on homelessness, and the language was just so insulting, calling people degenerates and worthless and useless, and again not contributing when maybe there is a more systemic cause to why they don't or are not seeking full-time jobs. I want to know why the educated younger generation isn't working. Don't you? Not those that are disabled or have been outpriced from their homes. That's what I want to know. I want to know, why are they really not working? I have seen that there are many ways to live in this world by traveling. I have known that there are people who are van lifers, not homeless, just houseless. They're skilled at life and they prefer to travel in life. They go from state to state, city to city. Some work really casual labor. Maybe they make music on the street, doing whatever it is that needs to be done to earn enough money just to buy gas and eats. That's a whole nother lifestyle. I've done it myself with 3 children until I was able to play by the rules and make it this far to retirement. I still contribute every time I pay my property taxes. And if I needed to, I would go get a casual job if I needed extra money. I mean, a lot of times I wish I had a smaller home with smaller utilities in a cost affordable city, but that is something that is hard to find. Many are being priced out of their homes just by property taxes alone. I realized that that could be me one day. So my camper awaits that event just in case. The government tries to convince us that it's all for our best. Seniors are being expected to sell their homes, move in government housing, or live with our children. Just move over for the next generation. All these sites suggesting where seniors should live seem to be all high crime areas or areas with less health care. I have traveled to many of these cities, and they are anything but senior citizen hotspots. So, a heads up there. When you see senior retirement areas, really look at what's going on. Look at the crime level first. But yes, it comes down to all that I can do is focus on my own quality of life and trying to find some purpose and meaning with the time that I have left. It's been about my carving out purpose and meaning, because we don't know how much time we have left in this precious world. Where are the golden years we believe would come with retirement? I will keep peeling back the layers of this onion. I'm going to share ways how to soften the pain of retirement without being a burden on our children. But I have found that most people don't care about other people enough to say, hey, do you need help? Do you need a ride to the food pantry? Do you need a ride to the doctor's office? And these are just examples that I have heard from friends and family who can't get a ride to these different places that they need to go. You really have to be under the poverty limit to use a lot of the free transportations offered in our county. And you would be put on a waiting list here if you needed home health care. My cousin waited 3 years to get home health care for her husband, who's been bedfast 5 years. So, yeah, the system isn't working. And I think a lot of it is because there's a younger generation that outnumbers us that don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to pay into the system. So that means they're not going to be paying into their future children having anything. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I know my grandchildren that are working are paying taxes, and they're not paying it grudgingly because they may have a child one day. Oh Lord, that would make me a great grandmother. Oh Lord, what a thought. That'll be another phase of my life. Okay, I'm going to get off of here. I probably have bored you enough, but I do hope that I've opened your eyes and I haven't burned it too much from the onion that's in the room. All right, Penny wants to go outside. I love y'all. Have a great day. Bye.